Time now for this week's Goofy Award. We are going to file this one under What Were You Thinking? If perception is everything in politics, then our finance minister, Bill Morneau, has a problem. Shortly after the election, the federal election, that was in October 2015, he told the CBC that he expected that all his assets would go into a blind trust. And until this past week, I think that's what everybody assumed. He didn't do anything to change that assumption. What he did instead, though, is he did not put them in a blind trust. And he complied, I want to be clear, he complied with the minimum regarding conflict of interest guidelines, but he put his holdings, his assets, including shares of the family pension management business, Morneau Chappelle, into a numbered company controlled by another numbered company. The end result, of course, is that the shares were not held directly by him. But as I say, that's the most minor way you could have complied. Mr. Morneau claimed earlier that the Conflict of Interest Commissioner had advised him not to put his holdings in a blind trust. But it turns out the Commissioner didn't advise him of that, only instead stated that he didn't have to. He also advised him, the Commissioner also advised him to remove himself from any discussions that would impact his family firm. In the meantime, though, this is the bigger problem. The Finance Minister introduced legislation that, this is a sophisticated business person when it comes especially to that pension management business. He introduced legislation that he knows would have to have benefited his firm. And when he was asked this week whether he removed himself from the decision-making on that change, Mr. Morneau did not answer. The Finance Minister announced in response to the furor that he had now sold his shares, and he has put the remaining assets into a blind trust. The shares were, of course, of his family firm, Morneau Chappelle. That seems to validate the criticism they'll level at him. In the meantime, numbered companies, million-dollar gains in shares of the family business that he owned, legislation that benefited that business, well, they all contribute to a perception of conflict of interest. I think deservedly so.